Welcome to the CPG webcast, a service of CPGmatters and the Shopper Technology Institute. I'm your host, John Karolefski. Thank you for joining us. Today we're talking about digital sampling. The time is right for this promotion to increase its share of the overall sampling business and benefit brands and retailers. Joining me today to explain why and provide other insights is Larry Burns, President of Start Sampling, an online promotional marketing services company focused exclusively on product sampling. So Larry, why don't we begin by explaining digital sampling, also known as e-sampling or online sampling?
I can do that, John, and thanks very much for having me on. Digital sampling is something that's been around since basically 2000, and it's just now coming into its own. It starts with strategically placed media, a banner ad, or a button on the website of a retailer, a brand, publisher, a marketing platform. It's a call to action. So as such, consumers actively engage with the product and the offer by selecting that product sample. So in a practical sense, such a request indicates they have an actual interest in the sample. In other words, they're raising their hand and saying, I'd really like to try that. So when consumers provide their name and address, they travel partway down the path to purchase. Hence, they're much more likely to convert to a purchase of a product after that sample arrives if their experience lives up to the expectations set in the offer that prompted their action.
And why is this form of sampling increasing in popularity today?
There's a pretty simple answer to that one. Consumers are spending more and more time online, whether they're using PCs or increasingly tablets, smartphones, and things like that. And it only makes sense that as consumers engage more in kind of the zero moment of truth in digital sampling, they, in fact, are very there and able to be engaged by online offers. That's where people are nowadays.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Please tell us how consumers request samples online.
Sure. In a couple of different ways, but most of the time what's happening is consumers online take action to engage with a sample offer by clicking, by actively saying, in effect, that they want to obtain the sample. What happens next is they're brought to generally a single-page registration form where they provide their name and address, and then they're asked some simple questions, brand usage, how often they use the category, things of that nature. And then consumers are asked specifically if they can be contacted later for their opinions on the samples that they have an opportunity to try. In our experience this year, still over more than half of the folks who are participating said yes, that we can recontact them. Since there is a good value exchange, a fair value exchange, people are happy to comply and offer their opinions. So then consumers are shown a confirmation page, a brief delivery time frame is set for them to manage their expectations, and finally, a thank you page is displayed that ends the interaction and offers the sampler a chance to further engage.
And then the samples are just sent out. But who sends them, the manufacturer?
No, actually that's part of our job. Samples are shipped via the postal system here in the United States and in Canada. Generally, if it's coming from a retailer in a co-branded packaging to generate awareness and trial for both the brand and retail partner. So for a small sample, perhaps a small retailer rather, what may happen is a sample may be shipped in a customer's brand package, including a complement of that retailer mentioned in the address block. By controlling the delivery system, as Start Sampling has been able to do, we can really effectively manage multiple deliverables to multiple humans generated by orders on multiple retailers.
Well, that sounds easy enough on the consumer side. How about the business side of e-sampling? Any issues we should be aware of?
Yeah, there's some. Let me think about that. Media to bring people to the sample offer is still typically bought on an impression basis, and that creates some challenges. Relying on impression delivery as a metric of success is often not driving the desired action of selecting a sample to try. And third, media budgets based in impression delivery, we've often seen them exhaust well before meeting the brand objective of having, X million samples selected and delivered.
Well, that doesn't sound good. What's the bottom line?
Unfortunately, companies either then reduce the volume of samplers reached, or in some instances, they even believe e-sampling doesn't work that well.
Now, that really doesn't sound good. It seems like many programs aren't conducted effectively.
Well, unfortunately, that's been some of the case. Media buying for sample request programs just has not been optimized. And to date, up to the past decade or so, overall sampling spend in the digital market's been negatively impacted at times.
And how do you get around that?
Well, one of the things that we've done to remedy the situation, we've implemented a solution that conducts e-sampling programs on a cost per acquisition, or CPA, basis. In other words, the brand only pays for the media when a sampler raises their hand and selects the sample. Hence, the solution can guarantee a fixed budget and accelerated orders. So the focus there is on scale and efficiency. So rather than impressions and hope, what we do is we work with our customers and their media groups and determine who is it we're trying to reach in what kind of time frame, and then we give them that guaranteed pay for performance, and it's really slowly becoming an accepted practice. Many of the clients that we've been working with are beginning to use these things, including Kraft, ConAgra, Kimberly, Procter & Gamble, among others, have used it at various times depending upon the program that they're running.
Well, those are clearly world-class brand marketers, Larry. Any closing thoughts?
Well, when it comes to sampling, we really understand that personal experience is truly the best motivator of behavior change. So when we give a consumer the chance to have a personal experience via a sample, that's a very good first step towards them making a purchase. And then the other thing that's going on is you can really amplify the success of your program and enhance it greatly if you take very seriously the opportunity to work with the samplers and allow them to share their experiences. Samples are a very social marketing tactic. So brand needs to find, they really need to actively find ways to amplify their samplers' voices by making it very easy to share and talk about their experience, and then that really provides an opportunity for their friends to listen and maybe become interested and order a sample as well.
And that's something we can talk about the next time. Thanks, Larry. If you'd like to obtain an official transcript of this webcast, click on the link on the homepage of CPGmatters.com or shoppertech.org. Meanwhile, for more information about Start Sampling, be sure to visit them on the web at www.startsamplingInc.com. To connect with Larry Burns more directly, you can call him, follow him on Twitter, and read his blog. Information for all three is on the screen. Until the next time, this is John Karolefski for the CPG Webcast.